It is a great honor to be here with the family of Officer Sean Collier, with his friends and with his fellow police officers in order to celebrate his life. 1 year ago, cowards set off bombs at our beloved Boston Marathon, trying to terrorize us. It was not just the momentary terror of smoke and sound, but a week-long terror of uncertainty and speculation, of siege and lockdown, of violence right here in Cambridge. Such terrors can break a people's spirit. In fact, they seek to do exactly that, break a people's spirit. But we were fearless. Our first responders, our protectors, our investigators, our healers, our citizen heroes, our families, our friends, our neighbors, we did not waver. In that moment, when all the world had its eyes upon us, we responded with a cry of defiance, not of fear. And 1 year later, we remember that week. We remember Officer Collier. We remember our loss. And we look to heal and to restore our spirit. Scripture says, be brave, be strong. Let all that you do be done with love. Officer Collier certainly understood those words. He lived those words. Officer Collier was a model for how a police officer should serve. He knew that a strong, secure community requires strength and bravery, yes, but it also requires love. He knew almost instinctively that trust, cooperation, friendship, and generosity are the hallmarks of a successful community. He saw police work as a calling. He was a dedicated officer at MIT, important member of the MIT family. He was known all across this campus. He cared so much that he even decided to learn how to swing dance so that he could better connect with the students. That he needed to be brave and strong, but that he needed to do his work with love for his community. In the past year, we have seen what bravery and strength and love can do. Friends and family of Officer Collier, fellow officers, have come together to keep alive his mystery, his memories, and to celebrate his life, and to reassure us in the promise that he will always live on in our hearts. In the last year, we have found that when we are united as one community, bravery and strength and love restore the spirit. 100 years after the original Patriots' Day of 1775, an orator celebrating the anniversary the first battles of the Revolutionary War told the people of Massachusetts that our common liberty is consecrated by a common sorrow. From time to time as a community and as a country, we are reminded of this wisdom through the awful grace of God. Our common tragedies and sufferings unite us as one people, and that unity brings with it strength and courage, and ultimately renews our commitment to liberty. Today, we remain strong. We remain Collier strong. And we look ahead to justice that has yet to be served, to healing that remains to be done, to the achievements, celebrations, and memories of the future, to the fact that Officer Collier will live in our hearts forever. May God bless those we have lost. May He inspire those who survive to carry forward. May He keep our community united in bravery and strength and love. And may He always watch over the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and of these United States. Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Ferry. I was a friend of Officer Sean Collier. You should notice that this does not make me unique on this campus. Sean was a friend to every student he met, and he made it his mission to meet as many of us as possible. On the night of April 18, 2013, our campus was still reeling from the unspeakable violence that transpired on Marathon Monday. That night, the Green Building was lit up to look like the American flag in honor of the victims of the Marathon bombings. We never expected that violence to follow us home to MIT, to this very spot. We never thought that just a few days later, the American flag on the Green Building would give way to a 300-foot tall ribbon of black and police blue in honor of Sean, in honor of one of us. Sean embodied the spirit of MIT and its students. First, he was always learning. If you were his friend, he wanted to tour your lab and know all about your research. Second, he sought out challenge and adventure, whether he was exploring the hidden corners of MIT's campus or climbing a mountain with the Outing Club. Finally, he wanted to engineer clever solutions to every problem he encountered. Just ask any police officer who worked with him. Of course, MIT students also like to push boundaries and break rules. You might think this would not bode well for a relationship with the campus police, but you'd be wrong. You would not expect one of the major headlines to appear on April 19th to read, "He loved us and we loved him." But we did. We loved Sean, and we are so grateful he was a part of our lives at MIT. Now it is April 18th, 2014, and the injustice of losing someone so good still hurts. Time and effort won't solve this problem, the problem of loss. This is incredibly frustrating to a community of scientists and engineers, especially when it's a year later and you still expect Sean to walk through the door at any moment. Sean was taken from us in a moment of extreme evil, but that instant has never defined how we remember him on this campus. When Sean left, love rushed in. Those who knew him vowed to honor him by emulating his best qualities. We became more friendly and helpful. Sean's friends at MIT rededicated themselves to service, to kindness, and importantly, to the pursuit of adventure. Sean's life was lost, but his spirit remained and was amplified 100-fold. That is how we choose to respond to what happened here 1 year ago. Love will be Sean's legacy at MIT. At this time, I would like to express our gratitude to Sean's wonderful family and friends. In all of this, you have borne the greatest loss, and yet, at every turn, you have been there for the MIT students in our grief. The same must be said to the men and women of MIT's police department. Because of your efforts to remember Sean and bring the people who loved him together, this community has been strengthened with countless new bonds of friendship and support. The silver lining in this tragedy looks a lot like a thin blue line. At MIT, we have an informal motto, IHTFP. It's an acronym with two meanings. The first is, I hate this expletive place. Because I practiced that so I didn't actually say it. Because MIT can, at times, be a miserable, stressful place for a student. The second, however, is I have truly found paradise. Because even when MIT is tough, it is vibrant, exciting, challenging in the best way, and home to incredibly smart, incredibly kind people. Sean, thank you for making IHTFP I have truly found paradise. Ring true with every helpful gesture and every huge grin. We love you, and we hope you have truly found yours. The MIT community has been enriched this year through the love and support of many friends beyond the bounds of our campus. One of them joins us today, so it is now my privilege to introduce the Honorable Edward Markey, Senator from Massachusetts.
The law of the land. And the wonderful Collier family has that same love of laughter and the same love of life. It is one great family, the Collier family. That is where Sean's greatness came from. Sean's roommate, who trained with him at the academy, said that his only fault was that he was too brave. He achieved his ultimate dream to serve his community as a police officer. And in doing so, he made the ultimate sacrifice for all of us. Hearing Sarah Ferry talk about her community with Officer Collier tells us that he loved MIT. He loved being a cop. He died doing what he loved in the city he adored. Today, we are reminded of the future decades of great service which we lost. And the loss here is senseless, just as senseless as those we lost at the finish line. For those of you who wear the uniform, whether it's a police badge, an EMT patch, or a firefighter's helmet, it's the kind of loss that makes you watch your partner a little closer or get a bit nervous when the radio call is not responded to. It's the same kind of worry we all feel from this kind of tragedy. The parents who hold their kids a little tighter, the extra glance around at an event, the feeling that we must always remain vigilant. Vigilance against violence is like the marathon. It is long, it is hard, and it can be perilous. But the actions and sacrifices by Sean Collier and all of the law enforcement after the attack will stand as some of its finest moments. The courage of people like Sean and the other law enforcement will always triumph over terrorism. And here, in a community like MIT, love will always triumph over fear. I have come to believe over the last year that MIT really stands for Massachusetts Institute of Togetherness. Martin Luther King said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." That is what MIT has done. Sean Collier was a shining light, part of the beacon that is MIT, for the Commonwealth and for the entire nation. The light and the love in this community here today illuminates the very best of what unites all of us: compassion, courage, optimism, and hope. For Sean and for each other, let us go forth today carrying more light, more love, more laughter in our hearts. Let us rededicate ourselves to our shared values of peace and community and the belief in the inherent goodness and strength of our citizens, citizens like Officer Sean Collier. Let me now introduce Deputy Chief of the MIT Police, Jay Peralt.
Thank you, Senator. As Sean's memorial service held here a little less than a year ago, Vice President Joe Biden said, "We have suffered. We are grieving, but we are not bent. We will not yield to fear, and we will not hunker down." As I reflect back on the last year, these words ring truer than ever. We did not hunker down or yield to fear. As individuals, as a community, and as a country, we are stronger, and we should be proud. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. A special thank goes out to Sean's family. 365 days have passed, and not one of them has passed without seeing Sean's face on the TV, reading about him in the newspaper, or being asked to attend an event in his honor. Even with this fatigue, they're here with us today. Thank you. Looking closer at Vice President Biden's statements at myself and at the MIT Police Department, we are stronger. We're stronger than ever. Sean has changed us all forever. He has made us want to be better people, to look inward and challenge ourselves to live lives to the fullest, just like he did. Sean's values, compassion, and love of life are what I remember and miss the most. We are still grieving. Many of us unable to shake away the memories of that night. But I challenge you today to replace those memories and visions with memories of Sean. For me, it's Sean's smile, that grin, that look in his eyes that always made me nervous about what he was going to say. I was told early on in the grieving process that it is okay for a cop to cry. It's okay to grieve. It is okay to remove that emotional armor and allow yourself to recover. That I've never been more proud of the men and women of the MIT Police Departments. I want to thank them for guiding us through this difficult year. I want to thank their families. I want to thank the MIT community and our brothers and sisters in law enforcement who have been there for us at every corner. We will always honor and remember Officer Sean Collier, Badge 179. He has changed us forever. Each day I walk into the MIT police station, I read a caption that was written by Vivian Eney Cross. Her husband was the first line of duty death for the U.S. Capitol Police. The caption reads, "It is not how these officers that died that made them heroes. It is how they lived." Sean lived passionately with curiosity, genuine kindness, and a dedication to service. I speak for the entire department when I say it was an honor to know Sean. It was an honor to work with him. He has left a forever void in our department, but he has given us the strength to be the best that we can be, and I thank Sean for that. It's MIT's honor and great fortune to enjoy a true partnership with the City of Cambridge. We are deeply grateful for the leadership and support of our next speaker, our friend, the Honorable David Marr, Mayor of the City of Cambridge.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you very much. Good morning. It's an honor for me to be here with all of you this morning as we pause to honor MIT Police Officer Sean Collier. On behalf of my colleagues in local government and the residents of the great city of Cambridge, I continue to offer my thoughts and prayers to Sean's family, to the members of the MIT Police Department, and to the larger MIT community. The City of Cambridge continues to proudly stand with Sean's family and his fellow MIT officers. We admire your courage and service in what has been an extraordinarily difficult year. Today is a day to remember and reflect on a gifted individual who embodied what it means to be an outstanding police officer and a valued member of the MIT and Cambridge communities. Sean continues to serve as a shining example of how to be a good police officer and a good citizen. Being a police officer on a college campus like this is a special privilege because of the strong bonds that are built between faculty, staff, and students. As an MIT police officer, Sean grew to love this community, and in turn, this community respected and trusted Sean and embraced him as an integral part of this campus. Today we remember Sean's life, a life full of love for his family, his friends, and for his country, and the great pride he took in being a police officer here at MIT. We have no doubt that Sean would have made an outstanding Somerville police officer. Unfortunately, it often takes a tragedy like this to pause and remind ourselves just how difficult public safety work can be. Being a police officer is truly a special calling. Police officers here and across the country put their lives on the line each and every day to protect us, the public. As the son of a former Cambridge police officer, I know and understand the pressure, the worry, the uncertainty that families of police officers routinely experience. Sean's passing reminds us of the dedicated work that the MIT police do, not only in making this campus safe, but also serving the broader Cambridge community. We are deeply grateful to have the MIT police as part of our public safety community here in Cambridge. Today, we remain one community. To underscore the strong connection between the city and the Institute, later this morning, the Cambridge Police Department will will add Officer Collier's name to their memorial for fallen police officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice for serving our city. And with the encouragement, and I want to thank the MIT Police for coming forward with this, with the encouragement of some of Sean's fellow MIT officers, the corner of Main and Vassar Streets will now be known as Officer Sean Collier Square. This is a very small way that the city can show our appreciation for Sean's dedicated service, and a place where people can recall and reflect on his bravery, courage, and the strong commitment to the MIT Police Department. And as I close, I just want to say what a true honor it is for me to be here and to pay tribute to a person who, I think when we hear all the stories about Sean, what is missing is the fact that the great and bright future that was ahead. And I really salute.
Helping to transform essential values and aspirations into physical form. The memorial design translates the ideals of Collier Strong into a structure that embodies both strength and connectedness. Inspired by the gesture of an open hand, the memorial consists of 5 radial walls which meet at a center. The central intersection of walls is then hollowed out to create a space of unity as opposed to separation, creating in its void a space for remembrance. Located at the gateway to North Court, the memorial structure and landscapes transforms this site of tragedy into a site of reflection. An interconnected and intimate landscape of rocks and trees creates a space for contemplation, shielded from the activities of Vassar Street and the campus. Constructed of solid granite blocks, which act as buttresses, the 5 walls converge to support a keystone, which unifies the whole structure. A timeless building method which exemplifies strength and unity. The concave geometry of the central void provides a space of pause under a vaulted ceiling. Inscribed under the vault and into the stone are the words, "In the line of duty, Sean Collier, April 18, 2013. A second inscription carved into the most intimate garden wall facing the site where Sean's life was taken reads from his brother's eulogy, "Live long like he would, big smiles, big heart, big service, all love." The open hand metaphor for the memorial resonates on multiple levels. It symbolizes generosity and service. It evokes mind and hand. It represents an extension of ourselves and our principles. We choose an open hand over a closed fist. The permanent Collier Memorial will offer our community the opportunity to remember the life of Sean Collier and honor his service and remind us of our values. Openness in the face of threat, unity through diversity, and strength through community. It is my honor now to introduce MIT Chief of Police, John DeFava.
Members of Sean's family, honored guests of the dais, members of the MIT Police Department, MIT community, brothers and sisters in law enforcement, family and friends, good morning. You know, I grew up in a time when young boys had heroes. My first heroes were those who I became acquainted with by means of black and white Philco television. Sitting in front of that television in the living room of a quintessential Boston flat roof 3-decker on a Saturday afternoon in my pajamas. The Lone Ranger, Sky King, the Texas Rangers. For an 8-year-old boy, it didn't get any better than that. And as I got older and my interest turns to sports, I revered the likes of Ted Williams, the home run twins, Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle, Rocky Marciano, the young man that I first knew was Cassius Clay, that would become the living legend, Muhammad Ali. And with a little bit more maturity and a little bit more growing, I recognized the importance and the value of people like John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King Jr., and Pope John the 23rd. And then finally I hit an era in my life when I realized that heroes were close and personal. People on the state police that I served with, and members of my own family, my dad, my uncles, veterans of World War II. However, at some point in time in my life, I stopped having heroes. Why that came to be, I'm not really sure. Perhaps it had something to do with the almost inevitable cynicism that sets in during a career in policing. Or maybe I reached a point in life where my expectations were too high. Or perhaps life turned too many disappointments into reality for me. However, although I no longer had heroes, being ever the romantic, I did feel a void, a sense of loss, if you will, that only people that still served as an example to me were those that lived in times gone by and were only remembered in dusty volumes on the library shelf. It has been said that a coward dies many times, but a brave man only once. While I understand the meaning of this statement, I do struggle with its logic. I ask myself, why did the brave have to die at all? Sean was truly one of the brave ones. He made the ultimate sacrifice and he did it for us. We must never forget the price he paid so that this very special community, this very special place can be safe. But we must also remember the way he lived, for Sean was an example to all of us. Personally, I will never forget the lessons he taught me, how to be a better police officer, an engaged and respected member of the MIT community, and above all, a better person. I was always amazed by Sean's insight into life. Jay, it was scary. He was always spot on in terms of his instinct about people. For one so young, he was wise beyond his years, and that wisdom was always a source of wonder. But now that wonder is a source of sadness, for it only emphasizes and illustrates the enormity of our loss. We have come together today as one community to remember Sean. Over the last 12 months, we have endured an overwhelming degree of pain and sadness that only a tragic event of this magnitude can create. While the sadness will never completely stop, and a sense of emptiness and loss will always remain, it is my hope that the tears will become less frequent and we'll begin to be able to smile a little more. We'll be able to turn and face the sun and think about tomorrow with hope and optimism. It is my hope that when we leave this sacred place today, although our hearts will still be heavy, we can begin to focus more on the life Sean lived and the lessons he taught than how he died. MIT has gone to great effort to ensure that Sean's memory for what he stood endures. I'm not surprised. This is what MIT would do. You've just heard of the spectacular permanent memorial that will soon be built. This past February, the first annual Sean Collier Medal of Service was awarded to the MIT MSS service, and soon a worthy MIT student will be the beneficiary of an academic scholarship in Sean's name. And what would please Sean greatly is the sponsorship to the Lowell Police Academy, all expenses paid, for Mr. Robert Perella from Rehoboth, who shared the same vision and desire as Sean, to protect and serve. However, as wonderful as these tributes are, I believe the very best way we can honor his memory is to live our lives the way Sean lived his, with honor, kindness, and compassion. On behalf of the men and women of the MIT Police Department, I would like to thank all of you for being with us today. This wonderful community, our great friends in Cambridge, and all the people that support us every day. That support has never stopped. To all of Sean's family, please know you will always have a place in our hearts to be members of our family. And to Sean, we'd like to say thank you for all the smiles and the laughs and the lessons learned. And for me, although it came at an awful price, I now know that heroes still walk on God's earth.